I started a brand new AI business completely from scratch, and in just under 30 days made $63,000 in the process to prove it's not luck. And I've been making money online with this business model for years, since the age of 16 years old when I started documenting videos on this YouTube channel with my first ever business. And today I'm going to be showing you exactly how I started over again while I documented the entire process live. And at the end of this video, you're going to see me making $28,000. We have currently made about $28,000 just a single day with this business model. So before we jump into week one, let me quickly explain the plan. Me and my two friends, Peter and Wyatt, will be starting a social media marketing style business where we're going to run ads for them on social media to generate leads on platforms like Facebook and Instagram. And then once we get those interested customers, we're going to build out an AI voice caller receptionist that will call up all of these new leads for them that we've generated and book them live into an appointment with our client for them to take from there and to close the deal. And if you want to hear how the AI caller sounds, here's a quick demo.
Excellent. Here's how we work, simple and transparent. We confirm details, schedule a brief consultation, then present on-market and private listings that match your timing.
It's pretty crazy, right? So let me quickly break down the rules of what me, Peter, and Wyatt are actually going to be doing. My main job is going to be overseeing the entire business to make sure everything is moving smoothly, from the offer, our pricing, making sure we're actually consistently closing clients and actually fulfilling for them as well. To Wyatt being the one managing our sales process to make sure we're actually consistently closing clients over Zoom. To Peter helping out where needed on the marketing side and the client fulfillment side to make sure everything's good to go. All in all, it's a very simple business model that I just call an AI agency, where you really go to other local successful business owners who have no clue how to use AI or social media, and you help get them customers through it. So going into week one, the goal that we had at the end of the 7th day was to make sure we had a salesperson who was hired and ready to take sales calls for us to close customers at the end of the 7th day, and making sure we had ads live for our own agency on Facebook and Instagram to target the ideal prospects and clients that we'd want to be closing that would be booking calls with us through the ads. But of course, we had to start with the actual industry of clients that we wanted to work with. And that industry would end up being stem cell clinics, okay? This industry checked all the boxes for us. It wasn't seasonal. They make a ton of money, and they have a very short customer sales cycle, which is super important to us. So it just checked all the boxes we needed, and we decided to go with them. And PS, just because I'm choosing this industry does not mean you should go out there and go copy me word for word. I still run this agency to this day, and I've had years of experience. So you're going to be competing directly with me today if you're watching this right now. So probably not the best move. But anyway, these clinics make anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000, sometimes even more. I'll say that again. They can make up to $25,000 per patient, sometimes even more. Stem cell clinics is the type of people that have obviously there's many ends of the spectrum, but they could have private jets and they could go fly out in their jet to this clinic. So this means we can advertise throughout the entire US. And if we can just help them get a couple extra patients, it means they'd make a ton of money on the return of their investment working with us. So we decided on our price point being $15,000 upfront for a service of, like I said, which is social media marketing on Facebook and Instagram to generate leads, and then setting up an AI caller receptionist to call these leads and book them automatically into their clinic to have an appointment. And then boom, from there, they close the patient, they close on the treatment, and they make the money. So over days 1 through 5, we spent every waking hour going over making sure our backend systems were good inside of a platform called GoHighLevel. GoHighLevel hosts everything from our websites to our calendars to our appointment reminders, and to even texting back and forth with the interested customers and clinics that we would work with. And if you want access to all the features I use inside of GoHighLevel, I'll have a link in the description below for a 30-day free trial that you can sign up for. But once we actually had our backend system set up, we needed to hire a salesperson.
We got 40 to 50 applicants on each. Not bad.
Yeah. I'll just get group calls going, and then I'll do interviews, and I'll pick a good ass dude.
And that person would ended up being Jacob.
This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, this is going to be huge.
Jacob was a great fit because we interviewed a bunch of closers, and he already had a lot of door-to-door selling experience.
The thing I used to do is very similar to kind of what Wyatt was talking to me about yesterday. He sent me a voice note.
And he just seemed like a good culture fit, a cool guy, and we wanted to work with him, okay? And he'd be closing all the deals for us, and he was ready to go and start closing deals on our offer. So the next step, after we finalized our niche of clients that we wanted to work with, our back-end system setup, and hiring a salesperson, would be actually building out our own ads for our agency to book our own sales calls with these interested clinics in our service. And just for context, there's many ways you can do this. A lot of people talk about cold calling or cold emailing, but at the end of the day, if you want results fast and predictable, if you look at every big agency out there, they are running paid ads. Paid ads is by far the most predictable way to book sales appointments on your calendar to actually close them as deals. So that's why on day 6, Peter and I would launch our own ads through a tool called arcads.ai. They're a great video ad hosting tool that you guys can look up out there, and they literally create human looking AI ads, just giving it a prompt. And as we launched ads, Wyatt would be still training up Jacob on the sales side to make sure he was all good to go and prepared once he started taking these calls, with these clinic owners.
Yeah, pretty much good to go. Literally all that I need is the payment links.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I'll get those sent to you. I'll actually give you access to the WAP account so you can make your own.
But right as we launched ads, we ran into an issue. There's a feature within GoHighLevel called A2P verification, which is a requirement to use once you want to start sending text messages. And of course, for us, we want text message appointment reminders for people that book on our calendar. And we forgot to get this verified. So that means all the clinics we'd be getting from these ads literally wouldn't even get a text that they actually booked a call and get a 24-hour and a 10-minute reminder before their call with us. We got it finally approved. Again, you guys understand this stuff can be super, super annoying with A2P and all that. But now that we fixed that, going into week 2, it was all about getting appointments on the calendar and seeing how many good conversations we could have.
We need something different than what we're doing. We're doing no marketing, period.
Okay, and
No advertisement, period. Our website is not up to par. Everything that you could say is not what it needs to be.
and what's making you say that?
Because I'm very realistic in what I do.
Okay.
You know?
I mean, but my question is, how many patients are you guys currently getting off the stem cells? So the process is very simple. So what we would do is I would collect all the payment and all of that stuff, and then we would get you on call with our onboarding team, and
So
they would
what
get
payments
everything.
will you collect from me? What is it
So-
that?
It's $15,000 for the entire 150 clients directly to your business to get you to those extra $150,000, $250,000 months. But we don't want clients to think that, hey, I'm just going to get these patients magically in my clinic. It's going to be super easy to deliver.
All right, so from that recording right there, you guys saw, obviously that was a no close. Jacob just could not get through to him.
I want him to learn so he starts to self-manage himself. I want to teach him, or maybe you could just teach him why.
So by the end of week 2, we had taken multiple sales calls and Jacob tried closing multiple people, and we ended up getting our first client that paid us $5,000 up front.
And I mean, why was that like AI appointment setting thing kind of important to you?
I'm all about automation, and I know human beings. We get tired, we get beaten up, we get emotional roller coaster, we have hormone changes, we have holidays, we have weekends, we have relationship. It's everything affects us.
Yeah.
AI work 24/7, 365 days a year.
Then we have a massive follow-up system where they're going to be getting called, reminded, just to ensure the biggest show-up rate possible for the sales team. And there's two options here. One, we can do all the sales for you. We'll hire a US-based closer and send everybody to your clinic after. Or you guys can take our sales training course, use it yourself, train up your team, and you guys can close everything in-house.
I am so technology advanced. I need my team to help me with everything.
Hey, let the doctor do the doctor stuff. Business lady.
Okay, perfect.
Payment links right in the chat there.
We're using fan basis, a little quick $5,000 deal, and then another $10,000 split against the second and the third month. Since our service is a 90-day long service, it made sense for us to do that just because we couldn't get the full amount up front. But still, a client is a client, and it was our first client. The only issue up to this point, though, at the end of week 2 is that we've spent around $3,000 on our own ads so far, with around only $5,000 made back from it. So we really only had a couple $1,000s in profit that was going to get eaten away here soon if we didn't actually make some more sales. So on to week 3, as we kept running ads and making some quick iterations and changes, it was just taking as many sales calls as possible. That was the goal. But we also realized our sales process was running into a few issues. We were running what's called a 2-call close. And a 2-call close is essentially where the first call is a clinic that would book on with us for this example, and they would be talking with us on a 15 to 20 minute phone call where we would essentially qualify them, making sure they can actually afford our service and we can help them. And then they'd get booked onto a separate call on Zoom with Jacob, our closer, and making sure, on that call, they would get the price, they would get the full rundown of our offer and pitch, and then of course they'd try and we'd hope for them to buy from us. The only problem with that though is 40% of people were actually showing up to that first call with us, meaning we had a 60% no-show rate. So we made some changes and tried to close another deal.
So the idea is control, you want scale and volume, and how many patients can you actually take on? What's your rough capacity? Because I remember you saying you guys are pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, I could take on 15, 20 a week.
Easily, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a few different things that we do when it comes to the actual sales. So we're A to Z, right? Means we go from completely ad, qualification, education, setting them on your calendar, or we can take the actual sales call itself, and there's one of two ways we can do it.
All right, guys, look what we just did. We just closed a deal, as you can see. I don't know if I'll have to blur out the person's name, but a little $5,000 deal just came through. So Jacob must have just clutched. I'm sure you guys. So we closed another client for $5,000 up front, meaning we had made $10,000 in total cash collected up to this point at the end of week 3. But at this point, we'd only had around $3,000 in profit, as we've currently spent about $7,000 on ads. So margins were still super, super short, and that doesn't even include the 10% commission on these deals that we'd pay to our closer, Jacob. But headed into week 4, we had our ads actually slow down a little bit, and we were booking less sales calls, but we tried to do what we could with the calls on the calendar.
Yeah, I think so. Last night we went over a lot of things, Peter and I. We fixed a lot of the automations, some of the pipeline stuff that you saw. So now all that pipeline, it's going to feed into the kind of sheet we look at for data.
By this point, ending off week 4, we had closed 3 total clients that paid us $5,000 each, with different deal structures on each.
And the problem is you're just not getting enough qualified leads, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome.
So if I say yes right now, and tomorrow we got the onboarding call, go over contract numbers and all that, I can make payment at that time? Or sign
so what we would do is we just do the payment right now, and then we book you in with Peter literally right now for a call tomorrow.
Okay. But what happens if I don't like the numbers on the contract or something? Can I
It's
say no?
refunded. There's a 30-day money back, no questions asked.
Got it. Okay.
Does that all make sense?
Yep.
I don't know how well my camera will show up, but another $5,000 deal. We've been doing a lot of these split pays. Not really a fan of it. I'm trying to get some more PIFs through the door for sure. Of course, it's not ideal, meaning our price point was $15,000 initially upfront that we wanted to be collecting to make sure we could fulfill on our service, but we had to do with what we could on these calls, and we could split up the payments here and there. So far, we had right around $10,000 spent on ads, meaning we only had about $5,000 in profit by the end of week 4. So going into week 5, we had a ton of calls on the calendar with different follow-ups and people who booked in prior and were finally available to speak with us. So this week was the time to make things happen.
Here it was Tuesday of this week, the 25th. We got a 15K deal closed. So we got 5K up front through the payment processor, and then we had to finance the rest of the 10K through Elective. So Elective is a financing platform. So, but currently right now we've collected about 25,000 cash collected, and we have about $35,000 in revenue for 10 grand. So roughly about a 3x ROAS, which is fine. Again, just because we're starting out.
Okay, I got the
All right, if you guys need to go because I know you're busy, there's no problem. Yeah, I'll just send this invite over.
So this person ended up closing right there. We had very little clips from the sales call itself, but they ended up closing for $9,500 up front. This was today, $9,500. This was today. Again, I don't know what I'm gonna have to blur. This was for $9,000. And then we had a $10,000. But as you can see here today, we have currently made about $28,000. I don't know if this is showing right now on the Slack channel from the sales team chat. 28K in a day, literally cash collected too, which is crazy. This is kind of expected. Like, you guys have heard my update. I think I did it on Monday. It's Wednesday as I'm recording this right now. But like, we knew there was a bunch of people in the pipeline that were looking to close, and they finally just came through and closed. These people are from image ads. All of these people are from image ads. $28,000 day. I think it's $27,000 or $28,000 day. So by the end of week 5, we had around $43,000 in total cash collected made up to this point, with only about $13,000 spent on ads, meaning we had $30,000 roughly in profit literally up to this point, which is absolutely crazy considering it's been 5 weeks. Now headed into the final stretch, which was week 6, which would be the final week inside of this video challenge. And we had a few good calls line up on the calendar that Jacob just needed to take and execute and actually close them. Quick spoiler, this person did end up closing in an upfront payment deal, doing $10,000 upfront.
Just so I have everything in check, you're at roughly 3 patients a week. We're looking to get to 8 to 15, correct?
Right. So, and the truth is, looking back over this last month, we're like, ooh, we were lower than that, actually. I didn't count it, but anyway, it's time for us to jump back in. I was kind of in limbo about the marketing company for a number of months here because I didn't want to jump into one before I'd really researched it, since I've made that mistake 3 times now. So send me the agreement. I'll explain it to Dr. Sessions. If he has any concerns or anything, I have your text, right? That text that you have goes right to you. Okay, Jacob, so you have my email address. So you can send over that contract.
So by the end of day 38, which is right around week 6 that you've seen watching inside this business, we closed a few more clients.
Let me get you the wire transfer information.
I'm gonna wire transfer it on Monday, okay?
Pardon?
Monday.
Can you do it now and you just send me a screenshot, because it already takes like 3 days to go through. Just because for the team to get started, I just need to send them a screenshot that you sent payment. They'll get started within the next 30 minutes, building all the back end. You can put it on the card?
Yeah, on the card.
1 second. That link that I sent you, the fan basis one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that just click on that and you can fill in the card info there.
I did.
You did?
You
already sent it? Okay. Can you send me just a screenshot of the fan basis really quick? Got it.
Putting our total numbers to $63,000 in cash collected throughout just these 6 weeks of running it, with about $40,000 of this actually being in profit. And that number, that $40,000, is after ad spend that we paid to Facebook and Instagram to, of course, book these sales calls on our calendar, and after commission that was paid to Jacob, who was our closer, who got 10% of all the deals. So I want you to remember after watching this video that you need to think big when you're operating business. And I know it sounds corny, but I want you to remember, I'm 19 years old and I started this entire business model when I was 16 years old. I've been in the game for only a few years, but I feel like this video is one of the only real examples on YouTube of people actually showing the business model they preach and actually succeeding with it at a high level within a short period of time. Now, yes, you might be sitting here and saying, Carson, well, you had thousands of dollars to start this business. And yes, you're completely right, but I did not have anywhere close to that amount of money when I was starting at 16 years old on this YouTube channel. I had nothing to my name and I had to work my way up, and it took a long, long time. But just know this is possible for you too. So take this video as inspiration if you've been wanting to make money online with AI today, and don't fall for the get rich quick BS. This stuff takes a long time and a lot of grit and hard work and effort to actually see any sort of payoff. For context, I didn't close my first client for my first 6 months of actually starting this business. Okay, I didn't even have a sales call on my calendar. But once you really, really put in the effort, things pay off big, and it pays off bigger than you could probably ever possibly imagine. And just for some final context, I still run this agency that you saw throughout this video here today, and I have a longer video on my channel of about 3 hours of me actually in-depth building this from what you saw here instead of this short kind of video. And the team now in this agency is all the way up to above 10 people, so you can kind of imagine how fast it's grown. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Feel free to check out the links in the description below. You can apply to my one-on-one mentorship if you're wanting to start an AI agency, which is this business model, in 2026 today. And make sure to subscribe, drop a comment of your favorite part, and I'll see you guys inside the next video. Peace.